This conference will now be recorded.
Christy, can you hear me? Are you roll call?
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you before.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't have my mic on.
I here, present.
All right, perfect. Corey, biking in another country. Okay. On to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm gonna do it at our meeting too. Approval of minutes of December 8th meeting. Any additions or corrections?
I move to approve meeting minutes from December 8th.
I'll second that.
All right. Thinking of starting with you.
I abstain.
Yes.
Christy?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Minutes are approved. Public comment on non-agenda items? You can. I can't
No,
tell.
it didn't turn on. Oh,
There we go. Hello. Most of you know me. I'm Brittany Hirsch, and I'm just here to make a public comment regarding some concerns that I have that I've voiced to Nikki.
Or was it just the wind?
I think the wind just caught it. But I figured voicing it isn't enough, so I want to make it public comment. It's in regards to the open deputy clerk position, along with a couple other concerns I have with the town. This needs to be known that I'm not a disgruntled ex-employee, but there's people that don't know that I left and why I left. While I was on maternity leave, 6 weeks in, I get a letter emailed to me by the clerk and the mayor telling me that my leave length was not approved and that I need to come back early. Not only was it shocking and felt very impersonable, but I just sat there and thought, wow, I really need to reflect on my time at the town. Because first of all, I have a 6-week-old at home and I'm getting a letter not followed by a meeting request or a text or a call telling me that I need to come back early and that my leave length was not approved. I had given the town plenty of notice, I think 6 months, 7 months that I was pregnant. And during the entire pregnancy, my plan was to come back January 9th. After the holidays was always the discussion, always verbally. Yeah, I'll be back after the holidays. Starting beginning of November, I'll work remotely because my entire duties could be done remotely. And I was happy to do that. So anywho, that's why I left, because I really just felt completely unappreciated and that it was uncalled for to treat someone like that when they're on maternity leave. But also, I think what made me really reflect on why I didn't feel like I should stay at the town any longer were some concerns that I had brought up to Nikki verbally while I was employed and that were not getting addressed. There are some growing liabilities that the town is facing with employee policies that they're choosing not to enforce. I'd been there almost a year and a half and was not once trained on any cross training to help the clerk treasurer, who's been here for a very, very long time, as you know. And the whole point of cross training is to allow someone to take vacation, to be able to leave, to step out of the office and get away from work a little bit. And I just felt like even after verbal comments and discussions made with the mayor and the clerk herself, nothing was going to be done. And so I hope that whoever fills this position is ambitious and has some longevity with the town, because that's what they need. I really hope that these policies that are in the handbook that, is kind of a fleeting conversation here and there, begin to get followed. Employees deserve to be able to take vacation. And when there's no cross training done, they can't feel like they can take a vacation. And like I said, I was here for over a year and a half and had no opportunity to be trained so that the clerk could take some time off. And while I was on maternity leave, I got the policy book thrown at me. And yet, on the other hand, it's not being followed for other employees. So I just want it to be on public record that I have made a request to Mayor Haas to remedy the current situation and to make a plan to prevent this in the future for whoever comes into this position, that they be cross-trained and that a separation of duties exists. We know that that is an ongoing issue in the town audit and has been for several years, maybe decades. I don't exactly know how far back it goes. But this position and this person that comes in should be fully capable of applying some separation of duties within the town. And so I think to continue making the excuse that we're too small to separate duties is unacceptable. Obviously, these issues don't come on overnight, and you've inherited them per se, but I think the town voted you in because they trusted that you would take care of these types of issues. So I ask that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Any other public comment on non-agenda? Last call for public comment on non-agenda items. All right. Moving on to unfinished business. Planning board formation. We have a full house today. Linda's in the back, say hi. Craig. Who's else online? Oh, Chris is there. So Dave Berryman was hoping to be online, but he was out on a business trip and Leona wasn't sure. But it sounds like county's got an appointment, so I think that you guys should just like pick a date and hang out. Christy, because you're the council's
Yeah,
representative.
do you want that this month already, like right away? And
So-
start doing training?
The training I budgeted for is for Forrest, and he is at legislative session, but in an initial group, you could, vote chair and then look at procedure. I have the county planning board's procedure for reference.
So we could do one meeting this month and then hopefully Forrest won't be done till after February though, right?
Not until after February, but I think it'll take a couple rounds, honestly, to get through procedure.
Yeah.
So you guys pick a date. And then I will send all of you, I have contact information for everybody else, so I will email it to you. So if I, make sure I have your email before you leave.
We're not doing a second meeting this month, right?
No.
So the 26th maybe? It's a Thursday night. Next Thursday doesn't work for me.
Too far. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Linda, does that work for you? Okay. What time do you guys want to get together? You guys don't have to be
I know.
there.
I'm pretty open on time.
But it's also bunko night. The 26th.
Does that work for you?
We can change dates.
These-
Are you scheduling another council meeting or a planning board meeting?
Planning board. Planning board meet and greet. Does that work for you? 26? She said she's flexible.
I'm super flexible.
That week is okay for any day other than, as far as time goes, I can't be here before 6. Anytime after 6.
25th at 7?
I could do that.
Okay. Does that work for everybody else?
I can't do the 25th.
Oh, it's always, this is why 7 people boards is like impossible. What about the 24th? What about the 27th?
What
Like
about
a
earlier
Friday
in the
night.
week? A Monday or something?
Monday,
What's the
Tuesday.
24th look like?
I can do the 24th.
Okay, 24th, 7 PM. Missy, can we do the 24th?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yay, excitement. And I'll get in touch with to make sure that we've got our county appointment, but. So the 24th at 7 PM at town hall. And I will get
Are you going?
like a brief agenda together so that it's posted. Yay.
So then who is everybody? Who is, yeah, I
So
know.
Lyndon, Craig, Christy, Dave Berryman, Jeremy Ramirez, Leona, and then,
Jerry.
yes.
Oh, yeah, Jerry.
Thank you.
Yay.
What's that? There's 7. I
Nice.
can't. It takes 2 hands. It's a lot.
It's gonna be a good crew, I mean.
All right. We have a plan. That was only a year in the making. Woohoo! That has been on the agenda for a solid 12 months. I swear. All right. So I was just trying to make sure that we didn't miss anything that we finished up kind of last year, that we're still kind of hanging out. So the camping regulations, the ordinance that we passed needs a permit, but James
James just sent that over.
just sent that over. But
Okay,
basically, if you had anything that you seriously wanted on our, for consideration on a permit, so we can get that done.
So it has been.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
hello,
Hi, James.
hi, good evening, happy new year to everybody. So I was just speaking with John Moore, and what I drafted up is basically, sorry, my voice is like really scratchy right now, but what John Moore intends to do is through his records management system, he will create a database so that law enforcement can properly identify any persons that are issued a camping permit. And all that information will be maintained in record form that is accessible from everybody up at the front desk, you know, Ginger and whoever the assistant clerk is or going to be. And then the draft that I provided was just a basic idea form. I just wanted to throw something out there. But John Moore will be working on this and taking care of it.
And then you get a final look at it to make sure that we're compliant with our ordinance.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's going to meet and exceed the requirements, no doubt. I mean, based on the conversation I just had with him about 5 minutes ago.
Perfect. All right, so that's pretty much almost in completion. Thank you, James.
Right.
That's good.
Short-term rentals. We still only have 6 completed business licenses, and it feels like there's 42.
Right.
I feel like there
Right.
may be more than this.
There's at least a minimum of 20, 30 in lower Ennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been out in this town enough. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Lower Ennis alone, low it's not 42. There's 42, right?
Yeah, that's what, the previous council, when they had done their master plan, had come up with at least 42.
But those are like Ennis area, so we're not sure.
And fishing guides that are providing housing,
Yes.
So there's,
Airbnbs.
so I don't know if anybody on council wanted to spend a little time digging and,
Seeing what we can do to crack down on it.
yeah, fine. I don't want to be mean.
Is there still
but like
incomplete?
maybe that a lot of them were seasonal and didn't know that now that it is a requirement.
Can we go back to who the consultant that came up with the 42 and get their list
Okay.
I
instead
think
of
you can,
recreating the wheel?
I think you can also contact.
I could probably, Nikki,
Go
me or
outside.
you could probably email Nora and ask for that list. Because I think Nora was the one working on it from the master plan.
Okay.
And you can contact Airbnb and whoever all they are. It's like city regs require registration. And then they have to then
Notify.
provide information back to you, back to the city, or they will register and collect the fees.
Do we still have incomplete applications?
The ones that we have are complete. So.
I can work on
Sweet.
that.
Thank you.
So I can get a hold of you.
Okay, you know how to nail them down. Okay.
And just like maybe a first reminder that
Yeah,
this is new. It's new to all of us,
but it's been a year.
but it's been here. So it's time to join the party. All right.
And Eric, you can call me too. And Christie, you can, Nikki. We could all,
I'll contact Nora at Cushing Terrell.
teamwork makes the dream work.
Well,
That's gonna,
in fairness to those that haven't complied,
The-
you developed an ordinance, you put it in place. Nothing that I know of went out to those 42 people.
Yeah.
So that they knew that now there's an ordinance. There,
and there's no old business, like we review all the old business licenses and if they don't come in, then we contact them and say, hey, did you forget this year? And they're like, oh yeah, whatever. But since this is all new, just a new reach out. We'll figure a way.
It's not, we can't do like a blanket and just email or like mail it to everybody in town. Or we have to,
well, they're not necessarily owned by somebody in town.
well, right.
But whoever pays the water, sewer.
Nikki, those
The renters.
emails cost money too. Like if we email to the town on that base database, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
And mailers cost and. Let's start with Cushing Terrell and see if they've got a list and then we can work off of that. And some of them know each other too and they can maybe spread the word between themselves.
Are any of those 6 through a property management company?
I'd have to go look for sure. I do feel like there was more than 6 people in the room that one time.
That's what I was wondering. How many were here that
So,
night?
just saying, maybe there is some awareness that is properly being ignored.
Uh-huh.
A little bit.
Uh-huh.
All right. Good start. We'll go
Yeah.
from there. All right. First scheduled matter is Resolution 586/2023. First one of the year. Resolution supporting the 2022 legislative resolutions of the Montana League of Cities and Towns. So Helena's in session. There's all that jazz. They're busy. I can't keep track of what's going on there. So the towns kind of have the Montana League of Cities have people that go up and kind of keep track, and then they update us monthly as to what's going on in the hot topics. But beforehand, they put together 11 resolutions that are kind of generic, saying these are the things that we are going to support or not support. When session opens, do we have your backing in this one resolution? So if anybody wants to see, the 11 are up there, and this is just a resolution adopting that we want to give them our support. Any public comment? What?
22 or
22. 22 is when they wrote the resolutions, so that's why it's 22 on here. Any other question, comment? All right, last call. Commission. Nope. All right, then I'm calling the vote. Randy.
Aye.
Christie.
Aye.
Tina.
Aye.
All right, I will send a copy up to Kelly Lynch. Since we're still on the topic and it pertains, double check your email because they're having a work session, a town hall thing. I want to say the 19th, but I could be wrong. 18th or 19th. Webinar, give you an update on what's in legislation, if there's anything that you want to comment on that they think is of particular concern. And they're on Facebook. I know, so exciting. But that also links you to their page, and they give tab updates on what's going on in legislation. So it's kind of an easier, I found an easier format to kind of figure out what's going on, and what pertains to us little guys, big
Just your
guys.
Montana Leagues and Cities.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I like them on Facebook, I'll follow you. And I actually saw a executive session and a whole bunch of things ahead of when I got them in the email, so.
Cool.
They just started a Facebook page, so. But yeah, double check your email, because I know there's one coming up in 2 weeks on the first bit of legislation, and then they're doing another one in February, March, April. All right, next is, once a year around this time, we have appointment to the Madison Conservation District. So Kay Suzuki has stepped down from the Conservation District, and the district has asked for our approval of Jacob Stewart. Public comment?
Very
Jake's,
nice, yep.
he is president of Search and Rescue, or was. I don't know if he currently is. I don't know when their elections are. He graduated here in 2000 and has worked for the Forest Service pretty much almost since then. Served on Ennis ambulance for 5 or 6 years. He had a UTV accident, and then after that, came into that. No heavy lifting would mess your back up. What else? But I want to say he's trails. Is he trails? What's the word? No, that doesn't seem right.
Range.
Range, thank you. Like, there's something that's not right.
What's the role? Can he fill it, in your opinion?
If Kay recommended him, then I would absolutely go with that as well.
I think
He's
he's
very-
capable.
yeah.
Very capable.
He stepped up in every position that I've been with him. Like, he was training officer on the ambulance stuff. He always steps up to whatever challenge. So. Any other? Public comment, question?
How long was Kay Suzuki on there? Too long, never stop.
All right. Last call for public comment. Commission, to you.
I mean, a motion to approve of Jacob Stewart to the Madison Conservation District.
Second.
All right. Christie, I'm calling the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, lead service line inventory. Eric, drum roll. Yes, the mic's working.
So I'm standing up to Mike, just. So in 2024, we have to have submitted to the state and DEQ a lead and copper service line inventory for the whole town. This means every house in town needs to be looked at and then tell me or have us come look and see, what type of lines coming in. And this will be submitted, and this is coming up, and it's involving restrictions on lead and copper, and it's getting pretty bad. So this is going to take a lot of time, and my plan is to send out mailers and hopefully get the homeowners to do as much as that as they can. And then we can pick up what's left. But it's important enough because if you don't contact us or your service line is considered unknown, it will at that time be required by the government to be replaced. No matter if you found out it wasn't since after that. So my plan is to mail out flyers, just get people involved in this. It's going to be a pretty lengthy, this is going to take up a lot of time. I'm going to need some help on it.
And then
behind you guys.
the other part of that is with our code, they own the line from curb
Right.
stop to home. So this would be at the
At
cost
the
to the
homeowner's
homeowner.
expense.
So please help us spread the word that we really need help with this inventory, and it's to save everybody the grief.
I'm going to commit 1 day a week. If you can't get to it or you can't or figure out what it is, I'm going to commit 1 day a week, every week to that alone.
So what does that mean? What do we need to do?
So it'll, in the flyer, it'll show you, it's a pretty good flyer. It's got pictures, shows you how to test your line and tell what it is and all that. But along with that is the date the house was made, and all this and that. There's a lot. I will say I have not seen any lead in this town, not one piece. And I've been in a lot of houses. I've also talked to Kelly about it, and he's never seen it either.
But we need them to
But-
be confirmed so that,
But galvanized or copper lines before 1985 was when lead was not allowed to be used. That may be a problem. But we have to know this stuff. It has to get turned in.
Eric, does it refer to sewer and water?
Nope, just water.
Just water?
Just the service line only, not the mains.
The service line that goes into,
Yes, sir.
what about businesses that
Yep.
have multiple
Yep.
units?
I need to know each and every service line in that place. If we have a meter hooked to it, we're going to need to know what it is, when it was made, this and that. No, go ahead.
Okay, so I have 1 meter for my end, right? So do I have to give you all 9 or however many?
No, you will just give me what that main lines, that your main service line is made of. Also in the questionnaire, I should have brought it because there's actually 26 questions for each house that has to be answered. If any one of those aren't answered, that service line and will have to be replaced. So
What government is forcing this?
it's the new lead and copper rules that are really stomping down on them. This is
Montana or?
both, both. Yeah.
So Eric, is it based on a percentage of the town or
Of what? What do you mean?
of, like if 20% of town has it, it's required or no matter what, it's required?
If you have lead
Yeah.
or you're downstream of lead, you're considered lead and it has to be replaced. No matter if that's 90% of the houses in this town.
That's the owner's expense.
It will be because of the way the town is, yes. So I'm really hoping that I get as much participation as I can.
and we might have to have like a fun door-to-door day. Like,
That's-
it'll be so much fun.
That's gonna be my 1 day a week, and I'm thinking Tuesdays right now.
Because we know how flyers go too. They're like, oh, that's,
Yeah, I'm not.
Exactly.
please don't.
So get it out there. Do us a favor, get it out there. I mean, is benefiting you guys. And if you do have a line that needs replaced because of this, I already put it in for funding for this. I'm not saying everybody's gonna get it, but I have roughly estimated,
What did we say, 5%?
yeah,
As a rough, we didn't think there was any that we could find, but 5% is what we put in so that we had the ability to help some.
so when this happens, after 2024, water is really gonna get tighter.
The regulations.
I'm worried about houses built before 1985. I'm not,
This checklist that we have, this is per household?
both of those are per household.
Or-
This is amazing amount of work that's gonna have to happen.
But this isn't what people will fill out, is it?
No,
Okay.
that's just some information.
Okay.
So
So
that
that
you
we
guys,
knew what
so
was
that you
going
guys
on.
know
Okay.
what's coming up and what's this and that. And yes, we do have till 2024, but we can't wait on this. The Public Works Department does not have time for this. And
So when a house or business is put in and the business is connected to the city, right, for water, do they have to report what type of connection is there? So I was thinking of Lermy, and
okay,
when Tom built that, he got a permit from the city to connect for water and sewer.
Yep.
Did he have to report back what type of?
this is why there was a time when that information was in town, but I was told somebody quit and got disgruntled and took maps and everything with them. So all this is gone.
We don't know for sure.
We don't know. Yeah, it's something that we do have a sheet that's filled out now that goes along with every permit issued out, and all this information's on it. But before, and we're not the only town. Every town in America is looking at the same thing.
So so how do I?
Not
determine-
prior, this is every house.
Oh, that's Tom.
House and business.
Huh?
House and businesses.
Yes. Any service line connected to our water main. For, in this flyer, it'll show you. It's basically if it's lead, copper, or brass. So, or galvanized. The biggest problem is going to be telling galvanized from lead. But a simple scratch test, if it scratches, it's lead. Or
They have to locate the line.
you have to locate the line, visually see it. Pictures would be amazing. Pictures would be amazing. This would really solidify this service line inventory, and
How do
You know,
get pictures?
you take a picture of the line coming in your house.
Check
Your
your
crawl
meter box, do a
space,
little
where the
excavation
meter
on
is.
the meter box, check your line.
So if you just locate your water meter and see that pipe coming into it, that's your service line.
Can't imagine anybody was selling lead pipe. Lure me in.
No.
I haven't.
But Tom,
No, but galvanized.
There's a lot of galvanized in town, and honestly, if you have galvanized pipe, please get rid of it. It's seriously doing you damage. Galvanize is next. This is the first step.
That's for copper and lead
Yeah,
What is preferred then? Just,
packs.
PEX.
what is that, plastic?
which in 5 years,
learned
we can determine that.
Right.
Probably.
Like eggs, are they good or they
Probably.
bad?
Probably. But I'm asking everybody here just to get this out, let everybody know, hey, but if you don't, if somebody fails to fill it out and we can't contact them, or if you have a trailer that's sunken in and you can't get to it to see, it will be considered a lead line and you will have to replace it. And I will have to show proof to the state that this has happened within 30, 60 days, I think.
And if the homeowner is not compliant, what happens to the town? Does the state fine the town or
Probably,
the feds?
at that point, at this point, I couldn't answer that question, to be honest with you. This is, so as this started, granted, it started, we should have been already on top of this previous. But when it started, they haven't said like, oh, this is going to happen to you or this is going to happen to you. By this time, the inventory has to be turned in. This
We
is
don't want to
gonna,
do it the day before just
and
because.
also the testing in town will be dependent on your inventory. So all these houses that are built before 1985, the town's gonna get dinged on them and have to test each and every one of these houses.
How do you test?
Now, a tap test, you're gonna, water sample.
And
And
then you have to send
those
in, and
those
then
are right
do
at,
that, and then that comes out
I
of
think
something.
$62 a piece. Something,
Eric, why you gotta be the bearer of bad news?
Always.
He's like, it's not my fault.
I'm just
I'll
kidding.
trade with you. I'll trade with you right now. I'll give you my keys.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I appreciate everything you do. I really, really do. It's probably a good deal.
She has the good key.
But again, I'm just asking for as much help
Yeah.
as everybody in town can give us.
Is now, can we, like, as we're doing our walk around, can we help people? Or can,
If
are
we
we
have
not
spent a
supposed
training
to?
day with Eric, or training moment.
Right, because that would be like cross jobs, right?
And you really need no training to tell what type of pipe's coming into your house.
Right, but I was
Send it
also
down
told
to
that I shouldn't go into anybody's
Burn it and
house.
go from there.
This is why
And then get some
the flyers are going out first. This is, if they don't send the flyers back to me, I'm gonna have to take all the time to contact, do it, and this and that.
Mhm.
But it's in your best
In
interest
2020, what is the
to
date?
cover this. I want to forget that date. I don't want anybody to know. I mean, like,
Okay.
just take that out of the picture,
By the end
what
of the
date
year,
it
we need
is.
to- we need our
It's
numbers.
starting probably next week. I hope to have these flyers printed out.
I'll take a stack.
I will need help stuffing 600, 700
It's really
envelopes.
quiet. Stop by and I'll stuff them all day long.
All right.
I can
I'll take you up on that. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I can help too.
You know, to the commissioners and the planners, planning department, before they get mail. Distribute it to them, so they have a heads up what.
Yeah, I can send those out tomorrow.
Okay.
If you give me email.
Okay.
So that's that.
Yay!
Thank you. Get to work.
It'll be fun.
And just so you know,
Fun.
this is the,
Thank you for the mission.
Michigan's,
Mississippi's in worse shape right now.
right? There's
They're shoveling mud out of their lines.
20, 30 towns in this country that are worse than Flint, Michigan. Just don't have it. Same thing going on right now, right as we speak.
But when we talk to people, we should not say we'll talk later about that. There is no guaranteed funding for it. It is.
Yeah, I would leave that out.
You know, there's gonna be something, but nobody knows what.
Yeah.
All they've stated is, hey, give us a rough estimate of what you think you're gonna need. And that's,
And we'll see what we can do for you.
So you think 5% was an accurate?
I think around there.
Okay. But even if it's galvanized, they need to start planning now to replace it.
Grab galvanized pipe, you need to get rid of it. And that's just, I've seen the inside of it, you'd be surprised.
You know,
Is that,
You'd do know.
Is that standard though? Is that what probably, if there are how most of the homes in town don't have lead, is it galvanized? Most of them?
And a lot of them are just copper to the house and then galvanized in the house. And that's one of the questions too on is what kind of pipe is in the house. I don't know yet how they're gonna determine our new testing schedule after that, because they're at that point gonna be like, hey, you need to test here, here, and here, and here, and here, and here. And then the schools now too, after 2024, we will be responsible for testing the schools and daycares and all.
Does the school have lead?
Schools off to me.
School's new.
Oh, okay.
The school just did their lead testing, so
Okay.
I don't know how that turned out, but I haven't seen any water tanks or water fountain getting ripped out, so.
Okay.
It's also short-term rentals to get.
So when they were talking about it, I mean, why couldn't you just put on the bottom, is this a short-term rental?
Of the checklist that they're going through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Two birds in one stone.
That's a really good idea, I like that.
You know, we can work together.
I'm just afraid they're gonna be like,
I
oh,
can get
how
in
do you?
front with you
And point out every single one of them, I
and drive
know.
around this town and point them out.
Well, when I started looking
Yeah.
at this, I'm like, oh shit.
I drive by,
No, I know, I have to.
I know, it's not okay. And while we're on that subject, I think maybe I know it's a little bit late in the game, but maybe we need to discuss how to try and put a cap on it.
You guys,
The short-term rental.
still,
I definitely put a cap on it.
Yeah.
what we're talking about right now.
And should I, as a father of 4 teenage daughters who can't afford to live here, this is something that needs to happen.
I know. It needed to happen 12 years ago. Yeah. Okay, I'll put that on my,
Unscheduled.
yeah, that's gonna be on my, duties.
Yeah, that would be very, very unpopular again.
Yeah. Well, if you're not pissing people off, you're not doing it right, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, department reports. We might actually not have forever. Karen.
I love going after Eric.
Right.
I'm the good news fairy.
I
I
can't
didn't
see.
get the word in on time. Here it is.
Annual summary.
So the month of December was pretty slow for us, with the exception of the stroll, really successful evening last month. So stats are just the monthly stats are at the top for our use numbers for December. Programming was also pretty slow in December, but January we're back to our regular programming and schedule with some adult events coming up. 21st, Intro to Photoshop. The 26th, a presentation on Fibershed, Montana. And the 28th, a seed swap with various master gardeners coming in. And that's always very popular. You can get your gardening questions answered. I've also included just a quick, actually this is a pretty good draft. This isn't final at all, but just of an annual summary. So it's for the fiscal year, but I usually do it right around the calendar year to help to assist with programming and grant schedules. So there's on the front side with the 2022 summary, we just have some final statistics. So this is for just Madison Valley Public Library. So we have 2,454 registered borrowers. The majority of those are county users. We're still trying to update our systems as far as demographics. And why we're doing that is just to figure out funding mechanisms for the future. So our circulation, so items that walked in and out the door, 33,643, and that's an increase from last year. And reference questions is kind of like the Chamber of Commerce. Anything from where do I eat to what about Ennis? Where do I find a place to rent? Anything you can imagine. So 65, and that's just what we tallied with 6,500 people. 4,500 people used the community room last year. We offered 54 adult programs and 2,500 people attended those programs. We offered 208 youth programs and 3,800 people attended those programs. Our Wi-Fi and computer use is right about 8,000, and our total visitor count, I usually say within 5% because sometimes our count box goes down. It's 41,295 people walked through our door last year. So just on the backside is just a summary of events, some programs, a little bit about our summer reading program, and a little bit about the Friends of the Library that fundraised just over $20,000 for us last year. And all that money went into mostly programming, teen internships. We employ a student from the high school right now. With the help of Three Rivers plus the Friends of the Library, we did the backyard landscaping project, which when it's all set up, it gets used every day. That's pretty fun. So coming up in January, besides programming, our board will be meeting tomorrow to discuss further the strategic planning. And I also went to, that's why I was late tonight, just going to the Headwaters RC&D county meeting to get libraries on the list for the CEDS list, if any monies come down, while they dovetail into projects, like sewer or business or education, that we can be involved in those. Any questions for me?
Part of the funding for the library is only based on on your statistics, the town of Ennis, correct?
That is correct.
Not
So
the county.
yeah, so the three components. So our largest income would be from the county, our interlocal agreement with the county, and that is a half of county mill. So after that, so the town population, which actually has twofold there. So the town of Ennis, we have funding from the town of Ennis, as well as a small amount of funding from the state of Montana based upon the current population of Ennis. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just want everybody to know how fabulous our library is. So stop in anytime because it's all the ladies that work there. It's top.
Thank you.
Do you guys publish that out to the general public?
Yeah, this in my hand will be published as soon as I get it proofread a couple more times. It will be, yes.
To go to the newspaper?
I can do a shorter version for the newspaper, yes. Yeah, thanks.
Does the
That's
library
awesome.
own the containers in the back? Or
Yes. Nope, they own those. Might have been just as I moved here. I believe the Friends of the Library purchased that container. I can do some checking on that.
Totally random. I got an email from the Girl Scouts, and apparently there's a badge for a mural we can paint. And I was like,
That'd be cool.
We could definitely talk about that.
It's really pretty back here, and that would be actually kind of a cute addition
That would be fun.
to the chessboard.
Yeah.
I'll get with you. Because, yeah, Abby Thompson sent me an email. I was like, all I could think of is I was staring at the town hall, and I'm like, yep, it's brown.
I've always
Flowers.
wanted to do something out
But I was
there.
like,
That'd be fun.
That would be really pretty.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's a shed there.
See? But there's gotta save room so the next generation can get their badges, so.
That's true.
Any other questions, guys?
Maybe this group gets one wall. Keep moving up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You got John's report.
Boy, he was busy today too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Questions? comments. You always email.
What does he mean when he says total parking by month?
No, it's dead.
Does anyone know? So like parking citations?
Where do you see that?
The very last page.
Oh,
He has it for all of 2022.
Do we pay? We don't pay the lines.
We don't what?
The lines downtown, like the parking space lines, that's not us, that's
Yes.
DOT.
Well, not the highway, that's DOT, but like,
The parking stalls? That's
yeah, that's
them.
us.
No, it's not.
No?
We don't have that.
We don't own
DOT.
that. We can't do any work there.
Well,
We have to
like,
actually get.
well, where Christie Ransom's is, that would be town property.
But the Main Street parking stalls are DOT to pay,
Yes.
right?
starting out First Street.
What, you're thinking about parallel parking?
Oh.
I just can't remember if I've actually seen lines or not. Apparently I don't park between the lines. Maybe I need
There's
that
some-
crash.
there's some-
I'm that person there, like.
No,
that's
there's
the line.
lines. This time of year though, people park because you can't
That's
see the
always
lines.
how snow season goes. That doesn't count.
Well, at least on our side of the street, you can't see them. It's pretty rough. It's, yeah.
I just didn't know the last time, I don't remember the last time it was done or how you do that with Laura was there.
I think when I just started, I was plowing down the road. I had to stop real quick. We're not out there, huh?
Yeah, no, that's DOT.
Back to you, Sunshine.
Oh, I did write a report. Just got back from some training, but you know anything?
What training did you go to besides the lead service?
This was, for basically mainly disinfection.
Oh, that's right.
If I do the fix, or disinfect it. It's also, CDC. That time you just come up, where I've got so many hours completed.
Any more applicants?
I was gonna bring that up. We're still hiring badly.
Especially with the busy season coming?
Yeah.
Okay. Age limit is 18 though, right?
And we reposted it or refreshed it on the website. And
We have not. But we have a couple. For live here. Again, i.e. how many.
Maybe we could just ride the mower around while we're going to talk to people.
It's kind of.
you can't have it. I don't know, there's rules about mowers too.
But I'm over 18. I can mow. We can take the mower while we're going to talk to people door to door.
I think you have to fight Kyle for
Oh, he likes that? Okay. Okay, maybe, can I have feel stupid saying it, but maybe I could have something to put on my bulletin board.
Job opening?
Might not be the best place to advertise that.
I will email you one.
Okay,
There's nothing wrong with it.
okay.
You know what? I'll email you one off tonight.
They still have to go through background
Yeah, right,
checks and
okay.
everything else, so
Yeah,
that's
we'll
where
put
we
in
put
there.
the flyers.
Better off will be.
Okay.
And, you know,
So send that out to everybody too.
right.
I mean,
Pull it
and
up.
decent perks and good insurance, and it would be a good job for,
The benefits are amazing.
and it's full-time.
It is full time.
Okay.
I need 2.
2?
I could use 3.
Full-time.
It's like,
Wait, how many do you have right now? Tim and Aaron and Kyle. That's it? You
Yeah.
two?
So isn't
No,
it
I-
amazing how much they get done?
and I'm just
I'm
gonna
blown away.
put it to you this way right now. I would love nothing more to just go wild like I did last summer, but without some people, it's
Oh, you can't do it with to yourself.
not gonna get done.
And we
Okay.
still have other stuff that needs fixed, so we definitely need
Need help. Okay. I'll be looking for it. Oh. Sorry. Bailey's back, right?
She is. I forgot to include backtrack. Yeah, so Bailey's back to work full time, and Chris, who is a part-time position, will be retired at the end of the pay period.
Okay.
So we're up, basically. Yeah, and we'll be talking at the board about finances and hiring. And I'll get back to you guys.
Sorry.
All kinds of job opportunities.
Zoning. Didn't know if she was gonna make it back on.
Are you looking at me?
No.
Susie, around?
No, she's at a game.
Oh,
This is the worst part
We
about
thought
Thursday
hers-
nights.
or no, we didn't get her.
No, I didn't see it.
We got a different email.
So currently. She's been working on it.
Oh, no, she did too, court.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent it.
Court and zoning, end of the year totals.
Oh, right.
I wasn't even reading the top of the page and I was like, why do we have 17 sign permits this month? And I was like, oh, over the year, that makes more sense. Now we're good. Conditional uses. I figured zoning would kind of quiet down this time of year. It's a little bit quieter.
But it hasn't, has it?
Empty space on it, so pretty good.
So, February's meeting will be a conditional use permit. And then 2 public hearings for the amendments to the marijuana and the parking in the North 40. And if I get it prepped in time, there was a snow removal recommendation. We ran into there was a lot of snow.
Back out on the street.
They just get done with something and then,
'Cause I will put it right back.
and then people would put their stuff in the street and then John had to go push several cars over the humps that were created. So now we have to fix that. So there's wording for that. So that'll be February. Plan for 2 in February. Because Colette called and part of the water PERS and wastewater PERS, that contract is them coming down and doing question answer for the public meeting. So February we'll have 2 meetings. And Susie's been working.
Are we doing water and sewer or just water?
We can do it either way.
I would do that. Both.
Okay.
That's just me.
And it saves them a trip. So if you guys are good with doing both of those.
Are we thinking like a 4-hour meeting then? Or
No,
like
she
how-
said each one would take about a half hour each section. So,
Oh, okay. This is with our results?
so I feel like none of our meetings go that fast. So plan for 45 per section
All right.
and we'll go from there. So besides the conditional use, there's been a lot of phone meetings, Zoom meetings, thank you, with Madison Foods as they go through their process. That's been the most,
So can we get an update on that at any time? Or?
there's still a lot of questions unanswered back and forth.
We
I
are
think
still doing a lot of that.
it's a lot of back and forth on plans and where they're at.
For their expansion.
Like plan,
Maybe yes,
I've
maybe
seen
no.
a lot of plans and they thought that they may be ready for February and
We're still
I'm
not sure.
not sure that will be it. It's ready.
Both kind of weird.
But there's 2 meetings, so yay. Didn't want us to break our streak of 2 meetings for too long.
Yeah, that's all right.
No.
Just a couple months is great.
All right,
Shortest one.
clerks.
Yeah, you need one.
Where's Ginger?
Deputy clerk.
I think you're doing such a great job.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
You're very enjoyable to see, and I love.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for taking minutes so that
And,
they can see grandchildren play sports. I know that we had to go back and forth on Sparsa report, that's the bridge and road and safety. three different applications. I don't know. I've never seen anything more confusing in my life other than maybe the final.
Straight out.
I'm so confused, but there was a lot in 1 week where like the deadline for the Barca reports was the 31st and we had ours in and I was like, oh no, did we get that in? It's all good. We're good. And then I open an email like, you have a problem with your report. And I'm like, panic anytime I get scary emails. Then we were back and forth. So I ate up a couple days of her time going through the Barca report and getting that straightened out.
Sorry, can you say what that is again, Larsa?
Bridge and road safety.
Is that something I did?
Is that Public Works or is that Ginger? Or is that
Yes.
applying for funding?
It's an annual,
That's an annual.
Yeah.
Which they'll pull off. Taxes. Stuff like that.
Okay.
How many miles of road we got?
so it's kind of like, there's a lot of things that are
Like how much
joint
is gonna get
effort.
paid next year?
And then the annual report. So in claims, you should have, I can't remember. I will when I look at the check again. But we do an annual report in preparation for audit. And then we have it reviewed. So Ginger's getting ready for that and audit is next month,
Early February.
early February. So
And then we'll go over that in our March meeting.
I can't imagine they're gonna have the report back to you that fast.
I think I have to review my notes from last time.
Okay. But
I
it'll be
thought
on
we
the
had
agenda at some point to go over.
some stuff to go over.
But is that, will we look at that in a meeting or is that something we need to come?
There's copies of it that sit on the, over there. It's about yay big
Okay.
to read through. It's super exciting. Not nearly as exciting as that water report or contract was, but that was. So that's pretty much
From the public on that,
on the
on the annual audit.
department reports, whichever way, but that's.
This is from the school board days. To me, the most important thing to look at in that report is what wasn't done that they recommended the year before. And look at the year before and what wasn't done the year before. You keep seeing repeat. You need to identify why it wasn't done, because there might be a legitimate reason. But there might not. It's important to address them.
We'll plan from there. So that's kind of what, and then all the regular stuff that Ginger does, but those have been the two.
And you've had applicants?
I think there's a third one.
We'll email you that application too for the
Okay.
deputy clerk.
Okay.
So on your board.
But you have had a couple. Yeah. Oh, what?
So yeah, applications and then,
How much training goes into? There's a lot of training involved in that.
we had to figure it, well, there was never a job description before, and that's why, like, I waited a minute, because I actually wanted, and I sat down with Brittany and asked her, like, everything that she did, and she was really awesome and helpful about going through the everything that she did. And then extra tasks that I hadn't thought of, like she does the fingerprinting, so John trained her on the fingerprinting and stuff like that, so we put all that together so that there is actually a job description for deputy clerk, because before, all it was utility billing, really. With, you should have some other
It
things to
wasn't a
do.
deputy clerk.
It was utility billing was all it was, so,
Which is about half of your time.
yeah. So that got completed this month, the job description, so that it was ready.
So who will do the training? Will it be a Ginger and Susie
Yeah.
training?
Maybe a little Maria.
Maria.
I asked Ginger that
Yeah.
yesterday, and I'll probably work with them on the utility part of it until they're familiar. And then you know, when they're ready or whenever it's determined that they're ready, then I'll phase out.
Are you sure you
Susie
wanna do that?
is, pardon me?
Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, you guys could just appoint her.
Can we?
Susie, whoever said that, shut the hell up. Susie has been a big help. She did that job for years. She is always willing to help me and sits down with me for at least an hour once a week to get me caught up on tasks that I don't know how to input into the computer.
Okay.
And she's always there and available. It's very pleasant about it. I couldn't be more complimentary.
Good.
And she said she'd help out whichever way she needed to.
If Maria should decide she wanted a full-time position.
Which brings up a comment. Susie needs somebody trained to back her up.
Yeah, it's not just cross-training in the
She's got
deputy
no-
clerk.
She's got no backup.
So like if court goes down, in theory, Art could be his own,
And John Moore could probably,
but that's kind
Help
of
somebody
crossing
do that.
enforcement
Yeah.
and,
but
but we,
then-
planning, she's got no backup.
there's no black backup in planning. Up until we had Matt, there was no backup for John.
There's no backup.
There's no backup. We need a
Has
second.
to have a wire operator.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's,
So it's not uncommon to not, you know.
so it's not just one hole.
And
We have Swiss cheese and let's hope that the
it's
Swiss
not
cheese
exclusive
holes
to Ennis either.
don't line up, but
Definitely.
slowly
But
we're-
once you get more help, maybe like Kyle could be your backup and then maybe somebody from your team could help Susie with zoning or no? It's hard to depend on people like that because you don't know how long.
Susie and I actually, I don't want to say this like that, but you have to talk to her about certain things, but not to the extent of what she does, but just.
she's turning into she calls herself like the land use nerd now. She was like, after convention, there's this whole group of people and they find it so exciting to read town codes and she's actually
She's
like,
one of those?
she's falling into it. She's like, I'm not quite that far yet, but it's actually more exciting than I thought. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. And I'm like,
And probably not going to accomplish all of her duties.
geez, but at least like if she
somebody
took
knew
2
where to
weeks,
go to pick up a permit to hand it to the customer that walks in the door.
cross training
when
there
she's not
or
here.
handle the simple ones if she was on vacation, like, hey, here's a sign permit or
Yeah.
a fence permit.
Could it be easier? Like, are all those permits online for people to print out and so you're
They
not
are.
hunting?
They are.
Oh, okay.
They're all online.
But some people don't do that, so then you have to print it out for them and walk them through it.
Mhm.
In your spare time.
And Ginger has a certain amount of that knowledge.
But there's just not a lot, so we got to figure out how to make that work with.
Yeah.
With who's here. So lots of polls.
Yeah.
And like,
Well, that should be Maria. She's everybody's backup.
Ding, ding, ding.
she's like, I think she's gonna handcuff you to the table. No, no.
You put those in the notes.
Is he there? All right, James, legal, anything special? James, are you there?
I'm here. I'm right
There.
here. So I received a letter from, I guess, Madison Medical Center about the annexation. It was more like in the form of an email, and it was not complete. It was not consistent with what we are looking for as far as the town. I'm not sure if they are moving forward with that transaction or what their plans are. So, I'm conscious of my legal fees and didn't want to, take like an active role in drafting up anything further. So I guess my question is, have you, Mayor Nikki, or any of the commissioners heard anything further on that, what their intention is?
Negative.
Okay. So then I'm not going to pursue it unless they want to pursue it. They're represented by council. It's not my job to chase after them. If they want to pursue the annexation, I basically laid out the terms and conditions that I would recommend to the town. So that's about all I have on that. I do have something else here I'd like to share with you. You gotta give me a second here, get her off the ground. Come here.
Maybe it's a kitty, he's a cat
That's bigger than a cat.
It's bigger than. Oh, I feel like that one may not interrupt the video.
Yeah, no, she's not gonna get in front of the camera. No, she's not gonna jump up on the desk. So
Sweet.
Nice.
it's Kimba.
Bring our pets to
Oh.
the meeting.
Why does that seem like a bad idea? James, I know when we were discussing the annexation, you had sent me an email regarding streamlining some of that in the application. Don't let me forget that we have to revisit that, please. It's starred in
Right.
my email, but there's a lot of stars right now.
There's definitely work that can be done on, administrative intake, procedural form, make some revisions there as we go forward. The other thing is, I think that the commission and mayor, you all need to think about what legislation, if any, legislative updates you're going to pursue for this year. And then we get going on that stuff sooner than later. This is the time of year traditionally that you propose and you work on legislation. At least you get the stuff drafted up and ready. Because what happens in a town like Ennis, I mean, your busiest months are the summer, and people lose focus and you have other priorities to deal with. So might be something for your commission just to think about. What do you have on your agenda? What sort of things do you want to amend and deal with in your legislation? I mean, I know this last year was tremendous effort, organizational and legislative. You accomplished probably more in this last year than I've seen, from a legislative standpoint in probably the last, since I've been working for the town, when I started working for the town in 2015. So I guess that's my report for the evening.
Thank you, James. Thanks for sharing. What's the pet's new name?
Her name is Kimba.
Nice.
Kimba, which is the white lion. Yeah.
All right. Tina, what you got?
Don't have readers. No, I'm okay. I've made it this far. I'm gonna be okay. I don't know where they're at. Maybe they're in the parking lot. I have a question. The property where the gazebo is, next, pharmacy,
Yes.
the lot, is that town?
Yes.
It is town.
Uh-huh.
Town park. Okay.
Anything else?
No, well, I was just really curious because I was told that wasn't town. So I wanted to clarify that. So I could take that back to that individual and let them know.
Misinformation's everywhere.
And I have Mondays off, so I'm gonna be spending a little more time with you.
Just remember that Martin Luther King Day is a holiday.
Okay, well, it'll.
I might be here anyway,
That's all I got.
but yeah, but sometimes quiet time is productive time. All right, Nikki, what you got? Brandy.
I really am looking forward to, working on getting together, doing the door to door, to do the Airbnbs, and I do think we are gonna have to go door to door doing that, and I do think we can do the Airbnbs and the lead line service things at the same time.
That's going to be timing too.
It
There's
is.
a lot of people
It's
that
gonna be
aren't currently
really
here.
demanding.
They think it's cold.
Neighbors of the Airbnbs will let you know what's going on.
Yeah. Good
That's
resources. Really good resources.
Yeah.
Well, then isn't part of that zoning, because in the ordinance that we created, don't they have to have little signs up?
They, as part of the, it's not,
License to do that.
Okay, so they do?
So if they're not licensed, it's not enforceable for John, correct?
If we know that they're there and they're online, and then they are in violation of the ordinance by not obtaining a business license, and we can send them a letter saying that they are not in compliance with town ordinance. And if they choose to ignore it, then they get a visit.
Then there's
Alert!
Oh, okay.
there is a fee, isn't there? There's like a fine.
That's determined by the judge when you're in non-compliance of ordinance.
I thought we wrote it into the, we didn't?
It's just a
No,
business
but so-
license. It's just a business license.
So
And this
when,
is in the checklist of things that we need, and they're safety and sanitation reasons. It's not to be picky on, but we are, last summer, no incidents. Summer before, probably intoxicated person went to the wrong house.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't my VRBO. And that's part of why we wanted the plaque, so that, yes, remember, this is where you were staying, and yes, this is, so if you don't see that, probably don't just go on in. Plus, a lot of us people that have lived here forever do not walk around. So,
I missed some.
yeah, sorry, question.
Sadly.
So in regards to what James was saying with legislation,
Mhm.
that would be the zoning that we were talking that we need to revisit. And also that would be me working on something with VRBOs to put a cap on it, right? Just researching and bringing it to, and then never written a resolution before, and I thought we were pretty lucky to have Brittany to help with that. So do I just reach out to James, or do I attempt?
You.
I don't know.
Can hang out with me at any time. There's actually quite a few that I've written.
Okay, I'm gonna be
Oh, boy.
coming on Mondays too.
A big party.
Is there alcohol allowed on premises?
I think that's frowned upon. That's an after the work's done kind of thing. I know.
Good question, though.
No budget items, no, nothing like that.
Okay.
All right, Brandy, you had anything else?
The only other one that I was gonna bring up is, since that was like 6 or 7 years ago when MMIA mentioned the apartment upstairs, are we still going to do anything about removing, because the tenant, because that was MMIA, we weren't allowed to have a tenant there because there was no fire escape. I just remember MMIA. That was like my very first year.
He was banned.
Wow.
That's all I got.
Well, thanks for waiting until you're a year in to remind us.
I don't want to be the one that's always
Like, oh, hey, there's no housing, but let's.
yeah, there's no housing, but I'm going to, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Because I remember,
Here's a thought, put in a fire escape.
I know. We can get a. something.
yeah, it was some sort of liability issue.
I don't know what it is. Okay, I'll find.
Didn't we just allow a bunch of new stuff
Digging,
over here
digging,
with no
digging.
fire escapes?
They
Yeah,
have sprinkler
yeah.
Want
system.
the fire department to use construction ladders?
Yeah, that was, unfortunately.
Those are not public buildings, and they have to meet, they had to, after systems and a whole bunch of other stuff. All right, Christy, commission, anything?
Just, I think we should update all the policy handbook or employee handbook policy, all that stuff, and then try to do those evaluations that we talked about. Cause you've been a year in now, right?
Yep, that's what I'm working on.
So-
Why do you think Monday's my quiet day?
And then capital improvement plan. I think we need to work on that and get it updated to get future grant money the next couple of years with the infrastructure and everything that's going on. I think that's something we should work on. That's it.
Thank you.
Is that a work session task, or is that, obviously it's way more than that, but.
Isn't the capital improvements, weren't we gonna work on purchasing a grader?
We're actually gonna create a budget item so that it's there for his capital improvement. John's got his built in, but we're gonna make sure that his is reworked so that he gets more stuff. Me,
I know
hubby,
you
the
super cool about
snowplow.
Can I be stupid? I don't know what capital improvement is.
How do I explain that?
Because I was thinking something else, like a fund. or
Capital
something,
is,
and then
is
you're talking
the
about-
items that you own. Or buy.
Investment in assets,
Your capital.
more or
that,
less.
that usually need to be replaced.
Like that pile of junk out there that's supposed to go away.
That's expensive.
Which pile of junk?
I don't know, the stuff that we have to have an auction for. or
Yeah,
has to
that's
go to
just, that's just,
Building. It's this building.
that's already been approved.
Paving,
All I have to
fire
do.
escape. That's all capital.
Capital improvement.
New
Your,
equipment.
Yep.
And the new equipment and everything, it's like the big budget items. These are the ones that, they're huge.
Should I have seen these by now? Because I'm not, I mean, or, I don't
I
know.
don't think there's been a CIP in a few years.
Yeah, weren't you appointed to that or something? Pretty sure, because we're all on other stuff.
I think that was a subtle reminder from the commissioner that you did sign up for that.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, I read it in the book and there's like nothing in there. We started on it, I don't know, 8 years ago. We never finished it.
Now's your time.
Thanks.
Hard
So
time.
excited. Yeah, I'm super excited. We don't have another meeting this month, so thank you.
But maybe we should with all this crap. Stuff.
All right, so,
Mayor's report.
there was 2 holidays. That was nice. I did enjoy that. And I did not come in on the one after Christmas or the one right after New Year's. I don't think. Came in some Tuesday to make up for one of those days, but, so in that time, I really wish I had my favorite letter, which was, somebody's family maybe had been murdered, but I don't speak English and I will pay you $3 million to investigate.
Oh,
No.
Spam letter.
that would take care
Spam
of most
letter.
of our infrastructure.
That was my first one of those. Apparently, I lucked out that I had not gotten more of those before now. Responded to concerned citizen regarding the deer. Said to look into the Helena thing. I did look into the Helena thing. They also had to postpone their program for 2 years because they didn't have funding. So I kind of feel like maybe we're not in the location right now to have. Helena partnered with Fish, Wildlife and Parks and first did an 8-year study on how many deer were in Helena and then created a plan to remove a certain percentage each year, which came out of the animal officer budget. FYI, we don't have an animal officer and all the animal licenses that we get, we just put that
Just a
on
little
top.
smaller than Helena.
We're just a little bit smaller.
$10,000 count.
So if we do get an aggressive deer complaint, then they are tagged and then we watch them and see if it was just like, hey, their baby was near and it was a thing, or if they're actually mean deer.
When I lived in.
But the number's not coming up, so.
One day a year, archery and shotgun in town.
I like that idea.
I don't mind that idea, but also people could always make their fence taller if they have problems.
Yeah,
If-
for real.
So anyway, that was-
They were here before they were.
That was that. I've been trying to get better about faster response to those emails, but I like to look into things first because you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But then I read that and I'm like, yeah, they fell. Trying to remember, don't quote me, but I want to say 30,000 short in one fiscal year. So I was like, well, I'm pretty sure we were having a hard time with other funding, and I don't feel that that's probably a current priority.
computer duty, Mayor. Yeah.
He said ignore anything that comes. Oh, he said that. Say no to that. I paid attention during the training.
job.
We finished up the public records request form. As town has never had one, amazingly. Just put in a request and hope that you got what you asked for. So now there's a tracking method for that. Public record request is complete. And the fees, we just followed Montana code so that they're there, which basically says routine request, no charge, anything under a half an hour, you want whatever. If it takes us less than a half an hour to find it, it's all yours. If we run the copier, we charge you the same price that they charge us for the copier, which is, I want to say 25 cents per color, something like that. So we just kept it at the same cost that we do. And then, but if we're digging for days, as in, I think it was James spent quite a bit of time. I spent some time when we had therapeutic essentials last year. That's when I realized town hall didn't have a public records request, and one of the lawyers from therapeutic essentials wanted information. So now it just makes it clear. What do you want so we can get it to you?
I love going to the classes.
And that form is updated and on the town website as well. In the drop window, not under anything else, just right there in the open. I did check on, there was comment that packet information wasn't posted online. So if you go online and go to commissioners, everything the commissioners get, it has their packet underneath commissioners.
For the month?
Yeah, and then they're all up there right now. It has October, whatever. So that was not correct. They were posted. And on there, I think that was all the major ones. I've gotten copies of the policy manual and they're starting to go through it. And then looking at timelines for the next section of things that we need to go through.
Like the zoning and stuff?
Zoning's going to be another one that we have to tackle, but I think that's going to be a lot of going through the last one, the draft. So I'll get copies of all the draft. It's going to be a lot of research, pre-reading, and going from there. And I kind of really want to get these guys oriented, because the next thing that we're going to have to write a grant for is the growth policy, because the growth policy is due in 2024. So the water PERS were off a year, so we aren't eligible for this year's legislative money, but the next one that comes up, then we are good for those. And go from there. So we're still trucking through my 4-year plan. Kind of muddy. All right, so I think that's the majority of what I did.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I do have a question. If our website had the code on it, would we ask John to put that on there?
The town code,
Mhm.
it's on there.
It's on it.
Oh, is it? I just have to
Mhm.
Carter? Oh,
Yeah. Dig harder, it's there.
Okay. Just kidding, because it's really nice when you're trying to look at other towns.
Mhm. So when you're looking at other towns you were talking about, I would look at Twin Bridges for,
Aren't we way too late?
what do you mean?
There's like 2%.
You can reference they had to have done a resolution first and figure out what information they gathered for their resolution. Start comparing.
Okay.
But that's probably your best start. And that was Twin Bridges, never mind. Yeah. So if you get a hold of the clerk over there, then
Okay.
of the resolution and the ordinance. Any other questions for me? So yes, I am working on, I waited the full year so I could do personnel evaluations. Working on those now that we have a form, because that was missing from the policy manual as well. It said reference section appendix A when you go to it, and there wasn't any form there. So first you gotta make a form that doesn't exist, since it doesn't exist, and then go back. It's never just easy around here. It's just not. So that's that. So anybody got something they want on the agenda for next month? Yours is on there. Yours is noticed. Is that what you wanted?
Well, there's a couple things I just wanted to, do I have to go up there? Can I do it here?
You better go up there so we can officially record it.
So,
It helps Maria later if we have to.
Maria should run for, oh no, so be appointed. So Tony Treglia lured me in, resident. So couple things. One is the mayor mentioned conditional use permit for next month. I'm requesting that I turn the lure me in. I've talked to some of you about this into single family housing. So available for affordable housing. We'll keep some available for rentals, but I'm looking for ways to provide housing at low cost. Second is I'm a Lion, so I know there's going to be conversations coming up about probably work on the levy again, and then also the dog park. There's a petition going around right now that we put a dog park, dog run, dog park at the Lions Park. I know it's come up before, but it's going to come up again. Third item is I don't know how to go about this other than this. Bower Lane is a private road that's owned by all of the landowners on Bower, and we're responsible for that. But with the amount of snow that we got, when snowplows came down Armitage, it just pushed all the snow right into Bower Lane, which impacts my guest to be able to get to my inn. So I don't know the answer to this, but I'm asking help on to make sure that if there's snow removal happening, that it just doesn't pile up in front of Bower Lane, because I don't own that section. The post office owns it, or whoever owns that land, and there's nothing to require them to clean that. So I'm just asking the city for help as they're cleaning Armitage, that they don't push the snow into Bower. So that's it. Thank you all very much. Happy New Year, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Anything else you can think of that you want on the agenda for February? You can email me. Okay. Just remember I made a deadline for all materials to be in. Yay.
Yeah, what's the deadline?
Where's that at?
I can resend it.
I'll search.
Nikki, the only other thing I just thought about is Bancroft's party. Is that a no-go still, or?
Ginger asked me to work on that. We haven't set a date yet. Anybody have any ideas or suggestions on what they'd like to see?
Okay, I don't have much, but I'll think about that. We should get it done. I really do feel like we should do something for him.
My thought was February. Anybody else have any ideas?
No.
As long as he's good with it. I'm like, I will
Yeah.
show up whenever he is
Okay,
ready.
all
And
right,
I'll help, if you need anything, let me know, I'll help bring a dish or whatever.
okay. We'll get it figured out and get it out to everybody quickly.
Okay.
But of course, include John in designating the date.
Yeah, as
Time.
soon as he gives us the date, it's on. Facebook it,
Thank you, Christy.
paper it. All right.
Oh, I wasn't here. Can I still? I moved to.
You can do that.
I want to do that.
I move to adjourn?
No.
Oh, where are we?
I'm like, no.
Oh,
She
yeah.
doesn't have her readers.
Oh, claim.
Yeah,
Yeah, claims. Then adjourn. No, I'm gonna do the last one. Oh, I move to approve claims?
All right, I did Christy last, so you're up first.
Aye.
Aye.
Is this one's claims?
Yeah.
Aye.
All right, claims are approved. Now,
I move to adjourn.
Aye.
And I will do better with glasses. Jeez.
Aye.
That was hard.
all right, perfect.
I think we can sign claims in there.
Oh, do we? We'll have another meeting, I know. Maybe we'll have that.
You don't have any adjustments.
Wait, are they in there?
Chair?
Claims in there to sign?
Are they in there?
To sign.
Probably.